Today I want to talk about Tennessee's new head coach, Josh Heupel, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about Josh Heupel and what I think are a few characteristics for you to like about the hire and to tell you a few stories about what I know about Josh from his time at Oklahoma. The reason I like the hire is because of what he was able to accomplish at Central Florida and the way that he was able to do it in some really odd circumstances. After having been the offensive coordinator at Missouri, Danny White tapped Josh Heupel to be the head coach at Central Florida the year after. Scott Frost did a job, one of the better coaching performances that we've seen in a single season ever, taking a team that had gone winless and turning it into an undefeated national champion. 2017 Central Florida is one of my favorite college football teams because of what they were able to accomplish and the circumstances for which they did it, culminating in a win in the Peach Bowl against Auburn that capped off their undefeated season. Scott Frost takes a job at Nebraska afterward. Danny White taps Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel did something I didn't know that he could do, which was go to the team and say, look, I'm going to try to fit into what y'all do well. Y'all were perfect last year. I'm not trying to mess that up. There's some things I like to do. There's some things I am good at. But for the most part, he did a job trying to win them over, feel them out, understand what made Central Florida good, and stick to that culture. And what he got was an undefeated regular season that culminated in a really fantastic game that they lost against LSU in the Fiesta Bowl. A lot of fun for me to watch and really supplanted this thought or cemented this thought that Josh Heupel is going to be one of the premier head coaching names that we hear about when it comes to Power 5 jobs opening up. But that never really happened because Heupel is not the kind of guy that is going to self-promote. He doesn't go looking for other jobs. He doesn't have something snappy to say on television or radio, and he's just there to coach ball. That is the thing to like about Josh Heupel. He's going to be low-key. He's going to keep you out of trouble, and he's only going to say the things that he believes, and he's seldom going to say more than that. The other reason to like Josh Heupel is because those UCF offenses that he put on the field were putting up 42 to 43 a game. It means you're going to get 6-7 touchdowns out of this man every game. They're going to go fast. They're going to go up-tempo. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch. The way that I would actually categorize Josh Heupel hired at Tennessee is not unlike Hugh Freeze the first time at Ole Miss when he was a shock to the system in the SEC, really running that no-huddle spread so well that Nick Saban was going, yo, is this what we want football to be? Turns out, yeah, it is. And it's what you want it to be because you ran something similar and your team averaged damn near 50 a game. And he had one of the most efficient and best passing seasons from a quarterback ever at Alabama. One more reason to like Josh Heupel is because of his affinity and relationship with Danny White. That means you're going to have a head coach and an athletic director that are working in lockstep at a time when the University of Tennessee football program is on the floor. You're facing NCAA sanctions. You're probably going to see some scholarship reduction. You're going to have a difficult season in 2021, if not 2022. But with those two men, I think you can build something that's really cool. We'll see if he's able to bring Randy Shannon over with him from Central Florida or if he just takes the job at Central Florida as the head coach. I tend to believe that Randy Shannon would be a great head coach, but I also think that he'd be better in the SEC alongside Josh Heupel and Danny White, and you get that group back together, see what you can't do with the Volunteers. I got to know Josh Heupel first as quarterback when he was at Oklahoma, led Oklahoma to the national championship in 2000, was a runner-up for the Heisman Trophy, and was so good that year that linebacker Torrance Marshall went to the coin toss against Florida State, looked Chris Winkie in the eye, who had the Heisman Trophy, said, I came to get my boy's Heisman back. Got his boy's Heisman back, got a national championship to go with it. Not bad for a dude coming out of Snow College in South Dakota who ended up at Oklahoma after having a long conversation with Mike Leach, just talking about nothing that had anything to do with football. One of the real better and more cool stories in college football the last 25 years. he immediately goes, basically, to becoming a coach. Takes a job at Arizona coaching tight ends. That Mike Stoops' Arizona staff is actually an all-timer. You go look at it. It's really fascinating. It's really cool to see all the names on that 2006, 2005 coaching staff. Then Heupel comes back to Oklahoma as quarterback's coach, working underneath guys like Kevin Wilson, also training up guys like Landry Jones, like Sam Bradford, assumes the offensive coordinator position after Kevin Wilson's out. And we see Oklahoma's offense, Oklahoma's traditional power kind of take a dip. And in taking that dip, we were all looking at Heupel. And in looking at Heupel, the way that he was able to communicate what was going on was also kind of cool, but he didn't have a whole lot to say in how he came to changing up the offense. I need to say here that I was covering the team from 2010 to 2014 as a beat writer at the time. And I'll never forget Josh Heupel explaining to me how his offense worked in one situation that I was curious about because I didn't understand. Went into personnel groupings, and he went into what you might see and what you see from the TV copy that you might not see from the coach's copy. It was a kind gesture. It's not the kind of thing that he would do normally, I know. And when I think back on it, the language that we were talking makes a lot of sense today, but I'm also much older. And I was rooting for the dude. 2014 comes along, bad season for Oklahoma. He gets fired. That makes way for Lincoln Riley and the renaissance of offensive football that Oklahoma has had since his arrival in 2015. But Heupel had changed his offense because Bob Stoops had wanted him to change the offense and then fired Josh Heupel. That's still an interesting, frictious time in Oklahoma's history. But we also got all these jokes about the ties that Oklahoma has to Tennessee and Tennessee getting dunked on by Oklahoma because there are two high-quality volunteer football players that went in the transfer portal that came out at Oklahoma. But I like the hire. I like Josh Heupel. He's not going to gin up a lot of energy. He's probably not the kind of guy that's going to walk into a caravan stop and ask the boosters to open up their wallets to go donate money for this weight room that they're building. But he is going to put a competitive football product on the field. That is my worry about Heupel. You got to be able to do both now, or Danny White's going to have to do the heavy lifting. It works at Central Florida because Central Florida does not have the tradition that a Tennessee program has. Okay? It works at Central Florida because they're not playing Alabama every year. They're not playing Georgia, Florida, Missouri every year, Kentucky. It works at Central Florida because Central Florida is not yet a Power 5 program. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what Danny White does, how Josh Heupel does it, and what kind of product they field here in the next couple of years. But on the whole, I like the hire. It's not splashy, it's not sexy, but it is good. Doses.